Hello there, young Minecrafters. This is Uncle Troy. Today we are working on water breaks. One of my subscribers, TeamZuxez, TeamZuxez. Anyway, one of my subscribers suggested that we really need a water break for here at the mushroom base because that ladder is very, very tall. And that's my own fault because I had forgotten that we were up near cloud level before I decided to dig down toward bedrock level. But I'm getting rid of all my unnecessary equipment here because I don't want to have to keep picking it up after I die, because every time I test water breaks I end up dying. But the simplest water break, I'm told, is simply dig a little hole and put a piece of water in it. So let's put everything away. And I'd better take off my armor too, because I don't want to damage it unnecessarily. Put this away. And now let's climb up and let's see if this little water break works, because in theory you just like step off here and splish. So let's see how it works from the top. And I think after I get this water break working, I'm going to have to add a portal or something so I can get back to the top real quick. Okay, whee! Alrighty, that's confusing because I'm pretty sure I've tried this exact design in the past and had failed miserably. But that time it worked the very first try. And I do see half a heart of damage, and I didn't pay attention to see if I had any damage at all when I started. So let's heal up and let's go back up to the top and try this again. And I hope you appreciate that I'm editing out the climb because that's really boring. For some reason I get lag as soon as I come up here and turn around. So let's try this test 2. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened the first time I tried this design on a different world. I always seem to die. I don't know if I'm hitting the bottom of that, if I'm hitting one of the edges. Rebuilding our terrain, but it never seems to work. Hello, spider. Okay, here we are in my little simple bedroom. Alright, let's down boy. There we go. Alright, let's try this again. Whee! And once again we die. Okay, so even if it works sometimes, it does not work all the time, and that's what we need, because it will always be at the most inconvenient time that, hello again, Mr. Spider. Mr. Spider. It will always be at the most inconvenient time when it decides not to work and leaves you dead. Or, okay, this time we will just ride. Come on, come on, come on, come on, and... Alright, that time we got it just right. But still, I don't trust that design, so we're going to try something different here. Let's pick up that one piece of water. And we are going to try a different design. This design will require signs. And I never have signs with me when I need them. I always keep extra signs handy. So somewhere on in one of my chests and one of my bases is a sign. Because at least one sign, because I always keep a sign when I accidentally think I made too much wood there. I only wanted 6 pieces total, but okay. So let's make us a sign. And put everything away here. Alright, and what happens is when you fall through water, suppose it slows down your player. How do you spell break? That's how you spell break. Okay. So in theory, all you need is one piece of water there, and you can fall down through it. and it will slow you instantly to a dead stop, and then you just kind of float through the water and on down to the bottom. And did I mention I seem to get lag every time I come up the top of this here ladder? I'm not sure why, because I'm still in the same chunk as I was down below. Alright, wee! And ouch. Okay. Apparently that didn't slow me down enough. Or something. Never exactly sure. Let's try that again. I may have to move my bed closer to this ladder. I'll be testing this over and over. Alright, and that time it seemed to work. Let's try it again. The main reason that I'm experimenting, that I'm doing the same thing here over and over and over, lag, come on lag, there we go, is that I had a design that worked pretty darn well in one of my single player worlds. Yeah, so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I had a design that worked pretty darn well in my single player world, and I used it and I used it and I used it, and then one, hello creeper, wonder what he was doing next to my bedroom. And one morning I went down to my mine and I went splat. And I thought, well, that's odd, I must not have hit the water break just right. And crash again. Okay. Obviously we need a different design here. So I worked on the water break, worked on the water break, worked on the water break, trying to get it where it wouldn't splash. And yeah, this time we'll just go straight down. And after numerous changes to my water break, I eventually ended up making it exactly the way it was before I started making adjustments, and then it worked again. And I always thought, well, that was weird. I don't know if that was just a glitch one day, Minecraft loaded up funny, or if it was one of those times where Notch was doing quick releases, lag again, where he'd make tiny changes without changing the version number. And ow. Okay, well, that time it stopped me, but it gave me 1 heart of damage, because I think it's high enough that I can still get fall damage from that height. But of course we need to repeat the experiment to test it. So whatever the reason, the water break that worked one morning just didn't work, and then after lots and lots of experimentation, the design I found that worked again. Ow. Okay, that's not going to work because we're going to keep falling and keep taking damage. So I believe the way I fixed this in a previous world was to place a block down here and put the sign on it. And that way you have a little shorter distance to fall once you come out of the water. I think you just need one. Let's make it. Go ahead and make it 2. No, 1. All right. Trying to remember what I did here. Anyway, long story short, one day my water breaks didn't work. I kept splatting. I changed them and changed them and changed them, experimenting, and then at the end of the day, putting back the original design was the only thing that worked. And I always wondered if that was just a glitch, or if Notch had changed something, because about every time I load up the game it says it's downloading updates, even though it doesn't change and the version number doesn't change. By the way, I'm recording this in version 1.7.3 in case somebody later decides to duplicate these experiments and says, oh nope, you did it all wrong. But one of the Let's Players that I watch a lot of his videos. I can't remember which one it was. And if it's the one I think it is, he's the one that's made like 200 episodes, so I'll never track this down. But he says he believes that Notch, about 1 out of every 20,000 connections, you get a slightly different version of the game with slightly different physics or some minor change, and that Notch does that intentionally so that people will have different behavior in the game and will post on the forums. Let's see, how deep do I want to make this here? How about up to the next slide? So people will see something different in the game, will post about it in the forums, and then immediately get denounced as trolls because nobody else's version of the game will be like that. And of course, the next time you connect, you get back to the regular version of the game, so you cannot verify it or anything. And I certainly would never accuse Notch of doing that, but it would explain why, I log in one day and, water breaks don't work, and then, after I change them 100 times, have to put them back to the way they were to make them work. Okay. If I remember correctly, the last time I ended up making water breaks, not the time I'm talking about where I had to change it a gazillion times, by the way, I ended up going with a 2-sign design because I wanted to just make doubly sure that I would not go splat at the bottom. And what I think happens is that sneak up the ladder. Apparently you can't hold on to the ladder while you're placing a sign. That's when I'm making a pretty tall water column space, a space, and then another pretty tall water column. And the purpose of this is that if I glitch through one water column, the other water column will at least slow me down. And hopefully by making the water columns much taller than the single water space that I see in most people's water breaks. I think I just heard a zombie. I'll have to go back here and dig this later. So even if I glitch through and if there's server lag, I will still not go splat at the bottom. That is the plan. And I'm leaving this one climb in here just so y'all know what I've been through every single time. Because a lot of times when you edit stuff out, people seem to think that you didn't have to live through that either while you were recording it. Splash, splash. Ooh, that just slows me down a lot. I don't think I'd ever made a water column that tall. And I kind of like that because there's always that moment when you splash through the water. Yeah, that's good. When you splash through the water and land at the bottom, there's always that half a second of, did I fall too hard? Did I fall too fast? Did I take damage? And then the game catches up with you, and you go, ooh, and die. So I'm going to check something here. Now that I'm falling so slowly through this second thing of water, I'm wondering, do I need to bring this, did I need to bring this sign down? Or can I put it back at the original location since I'm falling slowly? Will I take fall damage from dropping them last few spaces? And of course, only one way to test that. And if all this going up and down the ladder is boring to you, just imagine how boring it was to me. The whole reason I put things like water breaks and portals in my mines is so I don't have to go through this, because alright, I'm going to try this without this little block here at all. Let's put that back. Alright, we're going to have to test this at least twice more before I decide to trust it. But to get rid of the tedium of having to, climb up and down the ladders, which, all you have to do is, oh yeah, that just slows you down real good. All you have to do is just sit there with your finger on the button but why bother? I mean, I'll even create a railway track, mine carts, which will take longer spiraling up than it will just, to climb, just because I don't have to hold down the button and I don't have to actually pay attention to what I'm doing. Alrighty, that seems to work pretty darn good. Water here, sign here, more water here, and the sign down here. And then you fall the last few spaces safely. Okay, I'm going to call that my new design, and I'm going to say it is okay. And that's what I'm going to use down here. And I figure I am quite safe right up until the next time notch updates. So when the 1.8 update comes out, I'll probably test this and immediately fall to my death. Plus, like I was saying, there's the occasional glitch where I think any water break is going to fail. I'm going to have to get new water, aren't I? And like I said, there's like that 1 in 20,000 time you connect where you have a different version and something unusual happens, and then of course when you reconnect you get the regular version, so you can't prove anything. Okay, I guess I'm ready to start adventuring again. So I thank you all for putting up with this little experiment, and I hope you've learned something about water breaks and can apply it to your own worlds. And this is Uncle Troy signing off. Please have a good night.